Hi. Before I get onto the video, there are probably a couple things I should mention. First, I'm using a different microphone than normal because for some reason my old one's not working properly right now. Second, a firework just went off in the background, so if that carries on throughout the video, I'm sorry. Third thing, this is going to be like a huge collaboration between a group of friends and maybe even more people. If you see this and want to do it, so hi. I'm going to mention some people at the end that I want to make like a collaboration with, but now on to the video. Right, so this is like a different type of video than my normal one, so I've got a couple things written down in the group chat that so this is like, instead of doing one big story, I'm going to do a bunch of short stories which I've gotten written down, and now I'm going to read them off, so if it sounds unnatural, that's why. So the first one, this was a couple weeks ago, I think right at the start of the school year. So, I was in class. I have to take French because, for some reason, my emails weren't working, so I couldn't pick Spanish, even though I really wanted to. So I had to do French, and we've got this teacher. Not a lot of people like him. He's okay, I guess. Sometimes he's cool, but most of the time he's kind of mean. But yeah. At the end of every French lesson we have, there'll be a paragraph that we have to write in French about all the stuff we've done that lesson, which is kind of difficult because I suck at French. So the way our lessons work is we have like these massive PowerPoints. I'm assuming most schools do that too. But like at the end of the PowerPoints, there'll be a slide, and it has timers on it. So the first one, he'll give us 3 minutes to ask questions, and then after that, there's 4 minutes of writing the actual paragraph. And while we're writing the paragraph, we're not allowed to like say anything. Like if we speak, we get in instant trouble. So one of my friends, Mason. After the 3 minutes of asking questions, one of my friends, Mason, he's got a YouTube channel too, but he hasn't posted on it in a while. He said something, and that meant our teachers switched the slide back to give him a warning, which is like kind of like the step before in school. I don't know, the step before detention, basically. So he got that, and then since we're in a period where we're not allowed to talk at all, or the period of time, sounds really dumb, but yeah, while we in the period of time that we're not allowed to talk at all, we're not allowed to ask questions either. So if we put our hands up and went to ask a question, he would just be like, no questions. So he didn't switch the board back from the one that he used to give Mason the warning. So like for just a solid like 4 minutes, we didn't know what the task was, and he wouldn't let us ask to switch back to the slide. And of course someone still just knew exactly what they were doing and like aced it basically, while like half of the class just completely we got in a bunch of trouble because he wouldn't switch the slide back and he wouldn't tell us what we had to do, because every lesson is something different. But yeah, that's like story number one. I apologize if I sounded dumb because I didn't really know how to tell it. I've got like no detail. The next story. So this one, year 5, which I would have been 10, I think. I don't know how it works in like different countries, but yeah. So this one is kind of just dumb and it's kind of short, but I thought it was kind of funny. But so yeah, when I was 10 in my other school, with the one before the one I'm in now, they were like there was this teacher we had. She was good at spelling, but no, not good at, like, she wasn't bad at spelling to the point where it was like, oh, you're kind of dumb, you're not allowed to work at school. But it was like sometimes she'd just spell things wrong, and so sometimes like our class would just correct her if we noticed that she spelled something wrong on the board. But then one time I put my hand up to this was halfway through the year, so she had been corrected like a lot of times, and I understand how she like got annoyed, but I corrected her because she spelled something wrong, and then she just had like a full I'm not gonna say mental breakdown because it wasn't, but like she was really just like mad at me for trying to like correcting her, and everyone loved this not love. Well, basically they did love her. They kind of, like, every boy in our class kind of simped over her, and then basically every girl did as well, because she was kind of like younger than most teachers, so she was kind of chill with us. But yeah, so like I said that, and everybody in our class got like just they went silent, and basically they didn't actually. Why am I trying to explain the joke? So they pulled out like buckets of popcorn, massive buckets of popcorn that they just had stored in their back pocket, and they just started eating the popcorn while this teacher was trying to. Oh, that was such a dumb joke. While this teacher was like getting like just screaming at me. I just remember her saying like, "Why does everybody get mad at me when I do stuff wrong? Why can I not just be confident when I do something right?" And blah blah blah. And everyone was just watching. And then after that, for a solid week, nobody would stop making fun of me for it. Like some people on the playground, they had such good impressions of the teacher that I genuinely thought it was her. And I was, oh my god, I don't know. This is kind of a dumb idea of a video because I don't know how to like do short stories. But next story. So this one happened in year 3. It was the same teacher as my last one, but we didn't have the same like. She wasn't my class teacher. She was just a PE teacher at the time. So we had her for PE, and I was with one of my friends. I haven't got permission to say his name. I know he probably wouldn't care, but I'm still just not going to. I'll call him Josh. So yeah, I was with one of him. He was one of my best friends at the time. He still kind of is now, I guess. But yeah. So he was he was like talking to me, and he's no, not like he. I don't know how to say it, but he was like not actually hugging me. We were just like joking about, and he went to like hug me, and I was like pushing him off of me, pretending that I like didn't like it. And then that teacher, the one from the last story, was just like she thought I punched him, and she gave me the like this red card immediately. She didn't ask what happened. She didn't ask him. Like I just gently pushed him off of me, but like she thought I actually had punched him, and she gave me a red card, which at the time that would be like the equivalent of a detention, not a detention, like whilst in a detention, like a 1 or 2 day suspension maybe, because like nobody ever got them, and it was really bad kind of to us. We really over exaggerated it, but I walked because this was the only one I ever got in my entire life, and it was right at the start of the year, so I was like trying to act like I didn't care when I was walking off the fields area where we did PE. And then the moment I got in the building when I was being escorted by a teacher, I started crying. And I remember this other teacher, she was not a supply teacher, a assistant teacher. She was like saying, "Oh, it's too late to cry now. You should have done that before." And I swear, I think I like kicked her in the shin, like not a real kick, but like just like like moved my foot over to her shin. And like she got the message. She didn't say anything else the entire time, but like I swear to if I would have like had my bag with me, because I left my bag inside because we were doing PE, but if I would have had it with me, I genuinely would have just thrown it at her and went back out there and thrown it at my other teacher and full on went on a rampage and probably murdered everyone in the school. One of my headphones just fell out. So yeah, I basically that was all I remember. But then the head teacher, the principal, he said like when I got there, actually I like this guy. He was really cool. He actually like asked me what happened instead of just like getting me in trouble, and I explained it to him. And then at the end of the day, when I told my mum went in there and went to go talk to him, and basically the next day, like no, he asked me if I wanted to. This is before I finished school. He asked me if I wanted to press charges. Like, I don't know whether he was being serious or not. I didn't even know what I was kind of dumb. I didn't even know what that meant at the time, but I just said no because like it sounded pretty like harsh. But then I wonder what would happen if I said yes. Like that would have been really funny. Like I'm just imagining my teacher getting arrested because she gave me like a 2-day suspension for something I didn't do. Well, not even that. But yeah, basically, I like the next day after that. He said that like the teacher had to come up to me in the middle of the class and she dragged me out, which that made me think I was in more trouble than like I was, which kind of terrified me. But then she apologized to me and it was all cool. And then I didn't see her for the year after that. But then in the year 2 years after that, in the story I just told you a minute ago, I had her as my class teacher. So as you can probably imagine, that went well. But then yeah, everyone liked her. She was kind of cool. I guess she was pretty chill. She calmed down a lot more than she did when I was first there. But still, I didn't really like her that much, and I don't think she liked me back. Anyway, last story. This one happened when I was... Oh, wait, no, this isn't last story, but I don't know if I'll have time for the last one. So... Speedrun. This was a really long time ago. Year 1, I think it would be. So I was 6. And, I didn't understand how time worked. So when I asked my mum what time the day started, and she just said 6 o'clock, because that's like when it gets bright, at least where we live. So, yeah, she told me that the day started at 6 in the morning. So my friends were talking about what time they went to bed, and I said I went to bed at 6 in the morning, because what happened, I was struggling to get to sleep, and when I finally did, I didn't have a dream, so all I remembered was me closing my eyes and then opening them when I woke up. So I just assumed I blinked, and that was like, I slept only when I blinked. So I just assumed that I went to bed at 6 o'clock and then woke up like a couple seconds after. But then yeah, my head teacher came down, and she heard me saying I went to bed at 6 a.m. and basically got my mum in a bunch of trouble because of my mental retardation at the time. But yeah, so she said, like, it took me 10 minutes to explain to her what I actually meant, because I didn't know that I was being dumb. I just like assumed that I did actually go to bed at 6. Even like the year after that, I didn't know it, but I just had to like come up with some fake excuse. I have no idea what it was, but I got out of the trouble, and so did my mum. The last story, this could have got my mum in like way more trouble. So we went to Tesco the night before on Sunday, because I'm British, so we went to Tesco, of course. And my mum was buying crisps or chips or whatever crisps is in whatever language you speak. And she bought 2 packets, and she just scanned it. So she bought 2 packets, but she scanned 1 pack twice, but I didn't see that. I thought she just scanned it once, and then she put both in there. And so the next day, I went up to the teacher, and like I said, call the police. My mum robbed Tesco. And instead of saying like, oh well, what happened, they like dragged me upstairs, like away from my class, and they spent a bunch of time just like asking me what, like, not asking me what happened. They were like, oh, how did you do it? What did she do? What did she steal? And I basically just explained to her that she stole a pack of crisps. And then at the end of the day, when my mum came to pick me up, they said like, they asked her about it, and she explained what happened, and they believed her, obviously, because it was right. But yeah, this is the end of the story. Yeah, bye. Sorry about that. The gameplay clip was ending, and I kind of freaked out. But basically, that was the end of the story. The only last thing I had to say really was that my mum was really mad at me because I made like a bunch of people at my school think she robbed Tesco. But yeah. Before I actually do end the video, this is a collaboration with one of my friends, Brainless Charlie. I'll try and put his channel in the description. But yeah, basically we came up with an idea. We're gonna try and get all our friends and maybe more people. Like if you made it this far into the video and you enjoyed it, like please if you have a channel, please try and consider making one similar to it, because we're gonna try and get as many people in on it as we can. But yeah, basically, if you watched it this far, that means you probably know me in real life and you're one of my friends. So I want at least these people. Oddsy YT, these people will be in my featured channel list. Okay, so Oddsy YT, I want her to make a video. Now, one more time, I want him to make a video like this. And Super Penguin, I want him to make a video like this. If you guys know any more people in our school that have a YouTube channel, tell them to, or not just specifically in our school, but if you guys know anybody else that has a YouTube channel, ask them to try and make a video like this, because we thought it would be a cool idea, and I still do. I still feel like it's kind of a smart idea. But yeah, thanks for watching. Now, as I forgot to say in my last couple of videos, let's just skip to the outro then.